everybody. So this is part 3 of our communication series. What we're touching on this video is understanding your spouse in terms of communication.
Yeah.
So, sweetie, do you want to kind of let them know what we're going to be touching on in a deeper fashion on this video?
So at the latter end of the last video, we kind of hit on it, of understanding who your spouse is, and that is going to help you put things in perspective when it comes to why they are different in communicating with you. So for me, I had to be intentional, like I stated in the last video with Craig, and asked him, okay, so why do you like communicating like that and things like that? And to take it a step further, just analyzing our friendship and how long I've known him, it really helped me put things in perspective and understanding why he communicates the way that he does. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. So before we recording and before we got married and stuff like that, we were friends for many years, about 5+ years before we even started courting. And Craig was always that friend that, you know, he was always on his P's and Q's, to say the least. And what I mean by that is, so I'll tell him, hey, I have a plan, I'm going to do this, I'm about to do that with my life and stuff like that. And he'll just sit there and he'll be quiet and he'll be listening. Then he has a whole list of questions and just kind of analyzing, are you ready for that? Have you thought about this? Have you considered that and stuff? And I remember one time when I told him I was moving out, getting my own apartment, and he was like, are you ready for that? Do you have enough money saved? I'm like, whoa, you're not my dad. Okay, let's bring it all together. My point is, he's always been someone to sit back and analyze things before making a move. He brought that same self into marriage. He sits back and he analyzes the issue at hand before he's ready to talk about that. Before understanding that, I will really get emotional because I felt like he didn't care about the issue at hand. He didn't want to talk about it. And we have to come to understand, it's like, no, it's not that I don't want to talk about it. I genuinely want to resolve it. And I don't think right now is the best time to resolve it. And the best, we're going to come to the best resolution. So understanding your spouse in that regard is kind of what I meant.
Definitely. And on my side of, I really had to take a deeper look into nature and just understanding how you are, because I was like, what's the deal with her? So in terms of communicating, I was like, who in their right mind wants to stay up till like 3, 4, 5 in the morning to, you know, talk about something? But that's who she is at heart. If something is not resolved about with nature, everything's gonna be off. You could bring her favorite cookies and ice cream.
I don't want it.
She's not going to want it. Her favorite movie, she's not going to enjoy it because there's a lingering issue.
And I don't have peace when there's a lingering issue.
Exactly. She's not going to have peace. And I had to understand that about nature. So when you take me, who wants to like, okay, well, let's wait a little while before we, you know, talk about the situation at hand. Like I said, a few hours or the next day. And she's more on the let's do it right now. We kind of have to meet in the middle, but I don't want to take too long with her because she's not going to enjoy anything that we do the rest of the day. You know what I mean? Everything's just going to be kind of off for her. Yeah. So I had to understand that about Naisha because she cares so much. Her heart is so deeply invested that she wants everything to be right. She can't, you know, I don't want to say she can't deal, but you know, she doesn't like the idea that, you know, I'm mad at her. She's mad at me. She wants everything to be on the same page.
Let's
and
bring
everything.
It together. Let's figure this thing out. We gotta stay up. Let's stay up.
Yeah.
You know, if I gotta call off work because we still are talking about this, we do what we gotta do. And but initially it was kind of like, you want to talk about this when? Tomorrow? What? So I had to take myself and my ways, my desires out of the equation and say, okay, if this is for the betterment of our marriage, if this is for the betterment of finding a resolution, then I'm willing to oblige. But tomorrow, you know, but I had to understand why it's like that for him, you know. He want to come in with a fresh mind, with a resolution, and, you know, I think a lot of times it's also for me so that my emotional self can subside a little bit and bring that to the conversation as well. So
Correct. And to apply this to your marriage or with your spouse, what works for us may not work for you.
Right.
That's why we're saying you have to understand and learn
your spouse.
your spouse.
Right.
You
Right.
two could be on such a level where y'all can talk about things right away,
Right, that's
without it
great.
being toxic, without
That's
it being
awesome.
physical, without it being extremely emotional, and anything like that.
We've never been physical. Just
Thank
make
the
that
Lord.
disclaimer.
But understand your spouse. You and your spouse may prefer to wait a day or two, or
Right,
3.
right.
What works for us may not work for you. So that's why it's so important to get to know your spouse, understand your spouse, learn the whys behind, their thinking and their motivation. Then see what works best for you going forward, and build that line of communication, that safe place for each other. But it starts with understanding one another and what motivates your spouse. So, sweetie, is there anything you wanted to touch on that?
No, the last point I want to say is just in the Word of God, it says that in all you're getting to get understanding. So bring that mindset into your marriage. Go on a journey of learning to understand who your spouse is, how they operate, and I think you're going to have an effective and successful marriage.
All right. Well, thank you for watching this video, understanding your spouse. We will touch on the next video. That is what not to do with communication. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.